give Jeff some more love. Good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. First of all, I want to say thank you for being here. And I also want to thank Reverend Judy Morley for trusting me enough to stand in her pulpit. I don't sit in her seat because that's her seat. But it's an honor to be here. So, we are saying yes to our infinite supply. Jeff, your song, in everything, I see the face of God. So in saying yes to our infinite supply, there are three things that we are to do in saying yes. But first, before we get to those 3 points, I want you to take a look outside because I want you to see that we are surrounded by infinite good. You see the snow on the ground, so of course we know that all the snow that's on the ground made up of all these millions of little tiny snowflakes. And have you ever thought about that? I mean, all of that is from an infinite supply of snowflakes. We can't count the needles on the trees. Just infinite. Infinite. So we are surrounded by this infinite good that is always there, no matter what we may think, no matter where we are in our lives. This infinite supply is always surrounding us. Now, I have to let you know this, that I come from a long line of ministers and preachers, and so 20 minutes is usually just the introduction. We're going to make it 23 minutes, okay? Man, I am absolutely blessed to stand in front of you. Before I say anything else, I just want to give great thanks because I get to look out at the beauty that is in this room. You guys, you ladies, you gentlemen, awesome. The face of God. So, Dr. Ernest Holmes reminds us that there is an infinite good that we are surrounded by that we can use. I'd like to go a little bit further and say that there is an infinite good that we not only can use, but then we want to surrender so that it can use us. So we are the hands, we are the vehicle, we are the vessels through which God flows, through which God lives, moves, and has its being. So no matter what you're doing in life, know that you are supported. So I'm going to go ahead and go with these 3 points. And this is what I call our Rapid Transit Authority, RTA, but it really stands for Recognize, Trust, and Allow. So the first thing we want to do is to recognize that we are surrounded by an infinite supply of whatever it is that we need. Do you understand? Of course you do. Because I can feel your aura, I can feel your vibe, and so I know that you're vibing way up here. So you do understand that you are already supplied, you are already surrounded by this infinite good. So we recognize it in everything, which is why I pointed to the snow and the pine trees. Because we need and we want to come into the awareness that we are surrounded. When I moved here from Los Angeles, I moved to beautiful downtown Evergreen. People would say, when they found out that I was from Los Angeles, they would ask me if I liked it here. And I would say, no, I love this. I love it. And then I was downtown for about a year and a half, and moved up to Morrison, way up in the mountains. The cabins, 2-bedroom loft cabin, was gorgeous. It was cozy, and it was beautiful. Didn't have television, which I loved not having. I just got it just recently, and I remembered why I didn't have it in the first place. They tell me the most watched channel on the TV is The Guide. There's so many, too much. My cell phone didn't work, which was great, so I was really isolated. So I was in a spot where all that there was to do was to read and contemplate Spirit. And one day, during the spring, maybe in May, where there was 3 inches of snow, Evergreen, Colorado, May, snow. It was like, I'm from Los Angeles, people don't understand this. But I'm out on my deck, and I'm just watching the snow melt, and there's maybe an inch or so on the ground. And maybe 10 feet away from me is this chipmunk, and it's gnawing on a little piece of grass. And I'm like, no, that's really cool. It doesn't have to worry about anything. And then I allowed my vision to spread out. And I recognized all of these blades of grass. And then it dawned on me that this chipmunk is supplied infinitely. He couldn't, or it couldn't, I don't know if it was he or she, it could not get through all these blades of grass in its lifetime. It was absolutely surrounded by an infinite supply of food, an infinite supply of substance. It was amazing. Then I said to myself, why am I tripping off of me not having anything? I'm already surrounded. I had to recognize for myself that no matter what, I am well taken care of. And so my message for you today is to recognize that no matter what, you are well taken care of. And then we recognize that we are surrounded by the all-good. Oh, I have another story. See, Spirit, I was talking to somebody earlier this morning, saying that, yeah, I'm pretty prepared for the talk, but sometimes what happens is there's this hit where Spirit goes, no, we're going this way. So that's what we just did. We took a left-hand turn. Let me explain something to you. When I was in downtown Evergreen, when I first moved here, and there was a period in my life, just a short period in my life during that time, where I was concerned about money. I mean, it was all of a sudden, it's like, oh shucks, how am I going to pay my rent? How am I going to pay? It was crazy. It was. I didn't understand it at all. I'm like, okay, I got to take an advance out at the office, and I heard and I felt this message come over that said, be still and know that you are taken care of. So I stopped worrying about it. I go into the office the next day. Steve Burton calls me into his office. I'm like, okay, I'm going to the principal's office once again. And he sits me down and he says, Eugene, I want you to take a look at this. And I'm reading this document that is from, I didn't even know we had this at CSL, the tithing committee for Centers for Spiritual Living had tithed to me. Well, I read this going to read because of what you've written in your daily guide, so forth and so on. We're going to tithe to you. Steve hands me a check for $4,329. Right? I'm like, okay, God, I got it. Let's not worry about anything. So in our recognizing that we are surrounded, then the next step we want to do is to trust. To trust. Now, for a lot of us, no, none of you, because your aura is so high, your vibration is so high. But for me and some of the people that you work with, trusting is difficult. Sometimes it's hard to trust. And usually it's difficult and it's a challenge because of past experiences. But I'm here to tell you that we can look at past experiences to help us up-level our way of thinking. We can use those past experiences to lift us up higher. Sometimes the past experiences may be harsh, they may be hard, they may be difficult. There's no denying that life is an interesting journey. It really is. And I truly believe that every experience that we have, if we allow ourselves to, can have us grow and expand even greater. No matter what the experience is, the question you want to ask is, where is the good in this that I have not seen yet? And then I trust that I am taken care of. See, in trusting, I love the movie in Indiana Jones. One of those, 2, 3, 4, 5. And where he's having to go from one edge to the next, but it appears that there's this depth and there's this pit. And he steps out on trust. And the floor appears. So my question to you, beautiful people, today is, are you trusting life? Oh, I forgot to tell you this. I like conversation, so it's okay to answer that.
Yes.
Thank you. I hear myself talk all the time. I'd like to hear somebody else talk to you. I should hear the people in my voice. Are you willing to trust life?
Yes.
Are you willing to step into, are you willing to trust that you are well taken care of? Yes. Well, see, here's another term. Are you willing to trust yourself to forgive? Yes. Well, that gets us a little there. Yes. Because for forgiveness sometimes is difficult. Forgiveness does not say that whatever happened is okay. Forgiveness doesn't say that whatever the person did was fine. It's not about that person or the situation or the institution at all. Forgiveness is about us freeing ourselves. The other thing about forgiveness is when I am in lack of forgiveness or when I do not forgive, I am still stuck in the past with the situation. So let's say 7 years ago something happens terrible or whatever, and that person really upset me, and 7 years ago and here we are today, and I still have not forgiven that person, I'm still stuck in the past. Now that person may have gone on to live their lives. They have no clue that I'm still holding on to this that has been so gone 7 years ago. So, trusting ourselves to forgive whatever it is allows us to open up to receive. So trust that you are absolutely surrounded by an infinite supply of good. Then we get to, that's R. Then we have the T for trust, recognizing and trusting. And now it comes to allow. There are only two things for us to do. Number one is to ask for what it is that we want, and then to trust that we receive it. We are not to worry about the how it's going to come across. There was no way that I would have, had you asked me had you asked me 8 years ago if I would be living in Evergreen, Colorado, I would have said no, not at all. Not at all. Something happened, something spoke to me, and Spirit said, you know that you're going. What do you mean? I'm going to Colorado. And people have to tell you, it's been the best move of my life. When I moved from downtown to the cabin up in Morrison, beautiful place, gosh, on Rossman Gulch. And after I moved in, I sat down and said, how did this happen? How did this come about? And I heard myself, how did you allow this to happen? Whoa, how did I allow? Oh, I allowed it. So, we are to allow our good to come to us. But that's only half the story, folks. The other half is that we must allow ourselves to give our good. We are in the time of year, it's the end of the year, where Christmas, Hanukkah starts tonight, and all of the holidays. And as we were growing up, or as I was growing up, and you may have heard this as well, where they said it is better to give than to receive. Anybody else hear that? Yeah, well, most of us have. It took me years to recognize and to realize that that's not completely true. It's better to give than to receive, and that means that I only give, and I only give, and I only give, and I only give, and I can only give so much. You can only exhale for so long until you have to take the breath. I say that it's just as important to receive. So, how many of us don't even ask that question, Eugene asked this one. Are we willing to receive? Are we willing to allow our good to come into us? Yes. Yes. See, this has to be all right. Now, you guys over here, okay. That's because they vibrate so high, they don't need to talk. No, I'm just kidding. You know, I believe that Scripture, the book of Genesis, where it says, God said there to be light, I don't think that's what was written. I think that was changed. I think it was, God said, lighten up. Lighten up. I mean, the reason why is because life is so good. Like that chipmunk reminded me that there's nothing to worry about. There is nothing to worry about. No matter what life throws, it's not about what life throws at us, it's how we deal with what is thrown. You know, it's like people I have, you know, there's a client that I was working with, and this happens, where people are afraid for the other shoe. They're waiting for the other shoe to drop. You know, so then they won't move, but they're waiting for the other shoe to drop. This is what I say: let the shoe drop, put it on, and go dancing. Absolutely, go dancing. Let the shoe drop. What the heck? Because life is magnificent no matter what. So we allow ourselves just to dance and to move and to sing. For me, being the musician that I am, I think life is all about the music. It's all about the music. Universe, one stanza, one verse. And that one verse is love. Just don't tell anybody else. But that one verse is love. So, and then when everybody is in accord, life runs harmoniously. See, it's all about the music. How cool is that? Man. And then when you dance to your own beat, do not matter what this person is doing, because their beat will also catch up. And it's a wonderful thing. And how many of you in the room have experienced drum circles? Right, so you know, usually what happens in a drum circle, at first it's like kind of chaotic, and then all of a sudden something clicks, and everybody is in accord, and everybody is in tune, and everybody, the beat is just, oh man, it's amazing. But my pattern is different from this person's pattern, but they fit. This is what life is about. More than that, this is what you are about. You are the magnificent light of God. You are the magnificent face of God. You are the way that heaven meets earth. How cool is that? Now, when we step into allowing that to come forth, a word of warning here, people will look at you strange. People may think that you know it all, that you are better than everybody, but that's not the truth. The truth is that they are just not, they haven't gotten through the fear of shining their light. So allow yourselves to shine your light like nothing else, like nothing else. So to recap, to recognize, to trust, and to allow. Again, say yes to your infinite supply. So are you ready to recognize your infinite supply?
Yes.
Yes. Are you ready to trust that you are absolutely taken care of and that your infinite supply surrounds you in everything?
Yes.
Are you ready to allow yourselves to be the glory of God that you are?
Yes.
Let us pray. Woo! 21 minutes. Recognize, trust, and allow. This is your rapid transit authority. More like rapid transcendence authority. We allow ourselves to rapidly transcend the situations that may act to keep us down. So join me in prayer. How good it is. How sweet it is to recognize the one power, the one presence, the one life. Yes, it is known by so many names, be it Allah, be it Yahweh, be it Krishna, be it God, be it love, be it the Christ. It's not so important what we call it. What is important is that we call it forth in our awareness. Call it what you will, but call it forth into the awareness of your life. And so I call this thing God, this infinite intelligence that governs the universe through divine law and unconditional love. And I recognize that it is at the center of all life. And having no circumference whatsoever, there isn't anything that can, will, or does exist outside of the infinite presence of God. For God is all there is. God is all there is. For in the beginning, God. The Alpha, the Omega, the beginning, the in between that, all that there is God. And so in recognizing that this infinite intelligence is everywhere present, then it must be right where we are. No matter where we are, God is. Right here, right now, God is, we are. For there is never any separation. There is never any otherness. It is not the life of God separate from our lives home. No, 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 no. There is only one life, and that is the life of God expressing itself completely, abundantly, and magnificently in, through, and as our lives. How good it is to be in this awareness of our oneness. Not only with each other, but with the snow, with the pine trees, with the chipmunk, with our neighbors, with that person who may cut us off. But we are all one. And so it is from this awareness of our oneness in God that I speak this word. I name, I claim, and I accept the infinite supply that is absolutely flowing through us right here and right now. Recognizing that there are billions of cells within the body temple conspiring to have us live an abundant life. Blessings.
Thank you.
So I know that as we continue to live and to move and to have our being in this thing called love, that we recognize that love leads the way, and we trust that we are guided and directed to experience only the highest and the best, and then we allow the highest and the best to flow through us and to us with effortless ease and grace. For this, we give great thanks. And so it is from this vibration of gratitude and thanksgiving that this word is released into the magnificent activity of love and law, knowing that as this word is released, the law returns our word unto us completely fulfilled. For our word is the law unto itself and only knows its own fulfillment. So as we speak it, it is done. And so we allow it to be done. As we move out of the way, we allow the way of Spirit to move us. Yes, this is complete. We give great thanks. In the celebratory Thanksgiving, we allow it to be so now. And so it is.
So it is.
Amen. Amen. Thank you. I'd like to call up the ushers, please.